Hi, I'm Keith Decent, and I'm going to show you how I made a guitar pickup with some junk I had lying around in my shop. So I love taking things apart, and one of the things I took apart recently was an old pair of broken vintage headphones to kind of see how they worked. Now I knew you could use headphones as a microphone or a guitar pickup if you plugged it into an amplifier. It is very buzzy and not exactly perfect, but it does work. That's because the inside of these headphones is built very much like a guitar pickup. The difference being the little coils that are inside these headphones are not insulated as well, so they pick up a lot of random buzzing from the environment. I attempted to harvest the copper wire I needed from the headphones, but that proved to be a little too thin for my needs, so I took apart this wall plug, and you'll see there's copper wire inside. So these have two copper coils wound on the inside. One is about 25 gauge wire, and one is about 40 to 45 gauge wire, and this is exactly what I need. Too bad these things are a bit of a pain in the ass to get apart. And where the hammer fails, the hacksaw prevails. It takes a whole lot of elbow grease to get to the middle of these things to get the wire out, but I have a whole box full of these, and I'm sure you guys do too, so if you're ever trying to think of something to use them for, this ain't so bad. A lighter made quick work of the adhesive holding in the wire, and we're ready to go. Now wait, before we get building, I think I need to explain how a pickup works. So you have metal poles with magnets underneath, and they cause a magnetic field that looks like this. You put metal strings over that magnetic field and you strung them, like this, which alters the magnetic field, causing electrical current in the coil, which then travels down the wire to the amplifier and makes a sound. Pretty cool, huh? Alright, now back to the build. I cut 6 inches off the end of an old broken ruler. I drilled 6 holes equidistant from each other and slightly larger than the width of some machine screws that I had picked up earlier that day. You don't have to use a ruler, plastic, wood, any non-conductive material works, but the ruler helps because it has the markings already on it, which make drilling a lot easier. Use a little hot glue on the underside of each screw head to hold things in place a little better while I construct the pickup. So then I made another piece of wood with holes in it, identical to the first. I squeezed these together with the screws in between, and my alignment was a little off, but it's not so bad. Put a little hot glue between, and in the end you really want these to be about 3/4 to a 1/2 inch distance apart. I trimmed the wood parts down to 3.5 inches long, and cut all the machine screws flush to the bottom with my hacksaw. Now we're going to wind the wire, which is where a lot of stuff can go wrong. I hot glued a bolt into the bottom of the pickup and chucked it up in my drill, and I wound the copper wire from the transformer coil onto this paint roller for ease of dispensing it. When you do start winding your pickup, you're going to want to leave the first 1 to 1.5 inches of wire exposed on the outside of the coil. This is important because it's going to be the point where you're going to connect your electronics. Now, I had a lot of stuff go wrong while making these pickups. My wire was a little thin for the speed of my drill motor and snapped a lot and tangled a lot more. I ended up rebuilding the pickup with straighter screws and using the 25 gauge wire from the other side of the transformer coil. To avoid this becoming microphonic and picking up outside interference like the headphones do, I insulated the coil with hot glue, which can be frustrating. I also left about 1 inch of the trailing end of the coil wire exposed to connect the other side of the electronics. I added neodymium magnets to the bottom end of each screw, and secure them in place using some hot glue. There are a lot of variations on how to build your own pickup, and this is a really basic way to do one, single coil, with junk that's really just lying around. I built this pickup specifically to be installed into a guitar I was making out of scrap wood and other salvage materials. I'll link to the video for that build here and in the description, so you can see exactly how I installed it and how all the electronics work together. And as you can see, it sounds great, especially for something I made out of free materials that were literally just sitting around in my shop. I wanted to show that with a little tinkering and a little know-how, you can take a very complicated seeming project and make it with very simple tools and materials. If you like this project or any of my other projects, or you just want me to stop saying projects, then hit the subscribe button or go to my Instagram, where I don't talk nearly as much. Until next time, this is Keith Decent saying, later makers.